I like to run. No, scratch that. I don't like it. I need it. At least that's what my therapist and best friend says. Run to clear your mind, Dr. Tanner says. Nah, run to have a smoking bod so you don't have to be alone, Kelly, my best friend, says. All are true. Well, not so much about the being alone part. I kinda like that. It keeps me from having more issues than I need. I don't need a man or a woman in my life other than who I already have. Hell, I already have to go to therapy twice a week and run 4 times a week to keep me from grabbing the checker at the fast job that wouldn't get off her phone long enough to ring up my gas. Oh, I really wanted to clap my long fingers around her snarky, gum-chewing, too-much makeup-wearing face and squeeze until her head popped like a grape, feeling her eyes squelch when they exploded between my knuckles just to shut her up. But I didn't. I couldn't. So I run, to keep from letting my inner issues come out. It's amazing. The feel of the wind on my face, the thwop of the concrete as my Nikes hit it, the thump of the bass in my ears as I round the second corner. Yeah, this was heaven. Or at least it wasn't hell. Not for me, and not for anyone. Aye, look at that, Pete! A voice pulled me from my zen-like state, even over the pounding beat of my music, and I slid a headphone out of one of my ears and cocked my head in the direction of the voice. There, across the street. 3 guys on the corner, and they were looking at me. Shit. Don't stop. Just keep going. They're dicks. Just ignore. I see that, Steve. Looks kinda juicy. I slowed down, not listening to my inner voice. Shit. 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 Plump and juicy like a butterball. They all started chuckling, and I took in a deep breath before turning to face them. Leave me alone, I said, calmly and quite easily, which was impressive. That was all that came out, judging from the fire I had building in me. But why, Plumper? I'm just saying you have a juicy-looking ass. That's a compliment. Boiling. My blood was boiling. But I just stood there, blinking slowly and not moving as the Neanderthal sauntered across the empty street toward me. She got some thick thighs, Pete, the one called Stevie said as his tall, smelly frame suddenly hovered over me. Please, stop! I managed to hiss out as I flinched when he touched my hair and gave it a sniff. I seen you running the other day. You look pretty into it. Made me wonder what you got going on in the head of yours, Pete said, and I narrowed my eyes at him, never looking away as he started the predator encircling his prey movement. Back off. I'm warning you. I actually growled. This might be harder than I expected to keep any issue from surfacing. I needed to move. Just walk away and nobody gets hurt. Be the one to walk away. They are dicks. Nobody special. Just, how about, no? Pete said, getting up in my face and grabbing my arm. That was when something switched on in me. On, or maybe off. Either way, I was not in control of any actions I did. Okay, I whispered in a voice that sounded like me, but wasn't me. Taking a step back, I smirked as I pulled them in between the abandoned houses we were next to. Oh yeah! The 2 that I knew their names, Stevie and Pete, were surprisingly ready for action. The 3rd guy hadn't said much. Probably just hung out with these guys because they made him. Or maybe he was related. No matter. Wrong place, wrong time. As we made it to the darkened area, Stevie and Pete made no qualms about what they wanted. But what they wanted and what they got were not even close. Pete didn't notice my eyes grow black. when my teeth elongated before I was able to pierce his throat and pull his Adam's apple out, crunching it with a smile. I chuckled and grabbed a handful of Stevie's crotch and pulled it free as Pete bled out at my feet. What the fuck? Yum! I gleefully gurgled in between sinewy bites. Then I turned to the third guy, just frozen, standing there watching me as I took one step, then another, slowly lumbering over his friends. Listen, lady, I don't want... I chuckled as I licked my fingers clean. You don't want what? Any problems? Issues? Yeah. He stumbled backwards, and before he hit the ground, I jumped forward, grabbing his shirt. You picked the wrong friends. My growl was deeper as I pulled him close. You won't get away with this. I could smell every bit of him. His fear, the sweat pooling at his top lip, the urine filling his underwear, the smell of victory. Pulling him to where his ear touched my lips, I trailed my tongue over his gauged earring. Wanna bet? 2 days later, walking in through the double glass doors of the diner down the street from my apartment, I pushed my hands down the front of my thighs to smooth my skirt. The incident that happened earlier that week was all over the news. Not that it was a huge surprise, but they had it all wrong. The bodies of 3 unknown males were found crushed to death in the car compactor at Pete's Tow and Scrap on the east end of town. It is suspected that one is the owner, Pete DeAgostino, and it is possibly could have been a drug deal gone very wrong. More details when we have it. The reporter's voice trailed off as I moved up to the counter and smiled as the man greeted me. Hey there, detective. Usual? I smirked and pulled my badge off my belt and laid it on the counter as it slid down next to my partner. Nah, Jerry, just the water. And stop calling me detective. I told you. Call me Lilith. He nodded with a smile, and I turned to the big burly man to my right. So, what's new? I said as Kelly, my partner and best friend of more years than I could count, turned to me, then nodded his head at the television. The captain wants us to take that case. What case? I said, taking a slow drink of my water as Jerry handed it to me. The DeAgostino case. He thinks the mob's involved, or maybe the cartel. Could be high profile. Just a thing to have as your last case before you're up and retire and leave me to train a rookie while you bask in the sun in Jamaica. I arched a brow and smirked at him as I looked up at the television as they flashed pictures of the 3 douchebags on the screen. Maybe. Looks like a little open and shut, but it might be something fun to sink my teeth into.